Hey guys, welcome back. This is Ben here. I just wanted to make a video about something that once upon a time was the biggest problem in my life by far. I've never wanted to kill myself, but when this shit was going on, I really thought I was better off topping myself than letting this shit go any further. And the problem that I'm talking about is unwanted, intrusive thoughts. Something that I actually think every person gets, but not everyone has the same relationship with it that I used to have, and which a lot of people actually have. It's quite a problem for a lot of people. Now, an example of an unwanted or just an intrusive thought in general, something that people can relate to, is pretty relatable, is say you're walking on a bridge and below you is a body of water 30 feet below, and in front of you, walking towards you, is a small child. Now, it's not out of the realms of possibility for your monkey brain to see that kid and to see the water below and think, oh, what would happen if I picked that kid up and launched him into the water below? I could do that right now. You don't want to do that, but you have thought about it. Another example would be, and something that is pretty common, is say you're driving and on the sidewalk it is literally packed with people, GTA 4 style, and you're going at 40 miles an hour in a 7-seater with one hand on the wheel, and you just think, I could literally plunge into all those people and kill everyone, and like, you would never do that, but the thought of it entered your mind regardless. Was it your thought, or was it a thought that entered your brain?
Who you calling pinhead?
You know, I would say, well, we'll get onto that. Now, I really had a problem with this a few years ago during the scamdemic, often referred to as the pandemic, could be called the plandemic. A time for me when my mental health was probably at its lowest. They say that an idle mind is the devil's workshop, and all of a sudden, people the world over had a shitload of time, and a lot of people's outlets, i.e. the gym or just pretty much anything, jiu-jitsu, you name it, it was shut down, and there was just such a global level of uncertainty. They were talking about keeping us in lockdown until 2024. And it really, looking at all these vaccine passports and shit, it really felt like we were headed for a George Orwell 1984 horrorscape the world over. And I had all of this free time. And I remember there was one day in particular, I was sat on the sofa and I started thinking of some disturbing shit. And my mind from that day for a good while was fundamentally broken. Now, as I've outlaid before with these intrusive thoughts, a lot of people, if they were to think something like this, they would just accept it as some weird thought that is entirely meaningless. But where I had all of this free time, I had these intrusive thoughts, and all of a sudden, rather than just kind of wish them away or just accept them and just do some other shit, the combination of the intrusive thoughts and all this free time that I had, it led me to start trying to explain, and this is what a lot of people do, is explain their thoughts away, why they're meaningless. And a lot of, fucking 99% of these intrusive thoughts are of an emotionally compelling or disturbing nature. A big demographic of people who get disturbing, unwanted, intrusive thoughts are mothers who have just given birth to their newborn kid. They'll be thinking of disturbing shit. Oh yeah, I could strangle my kid. I could molest my kid. I could chuck my kid against the wall and crush it to bits, crush it like a Coke can. and they can get thrown for a loop. Oh my God, would I do that? I'd never do that. I love my kid. I've always loved children. I'm a good person. I'd rather die than do that. They start reasoning this shit away. They may get some short-term relief in the form of, when they, for a time being, logic their shit away. They may get a little dopamine out of the fact that they are now relieved, reassured, but then it comes back in a more pertinent, more bite-sized fashion. And again, they have to reason it away, and you can get thrown for a loop. And I know firsthand how terrible this shit can be. When you're convinced that you're a terrible person, when you're in the company of others, you're fighting a battle that no one sees, and you're convinced, oh my God, I'm becoming gay, I'm becoming attracted to bestiality, I want to kill my kid. After months and months of suffering, I wound up reading a book because it felt like my mind was at the end of its limit. I'm telling you, there was a time I literally thought, rather than act out on this shit, if it gets too bad and I think that I'm actually going to do this shit, I'll just top myself. I'll just end it because it seems better than what I'm going through right now. I read a book by Martin N. Seif and Sally M. Winston, who are both PhDs in psychology. And it's a book called Overcoming Unwanted Intrusive Thoughts, a CBT-based guide to getting over frightening, obsessive, or disturbing thoughts. Now, I probably will never get CBT therapy just because it's a shitload of coin. And yeah, I probably won't ever be getting that. But this book helped me out so much. It was like they articulated in writing everything that was going on in my brain on a daily basis. It was like gold dust. I read this book from pillar to post, from back to front, and it helped me out so much. Identifying the problems and how to alleviate this shit. Basically, when you get intrusive thoughts, you think that the problem that you have is with the content of the thoughts and how they make you a sick individual for even thinking this shit. Could I do this? Am I a monster? Am I into bestiality? Am I a pedophile or some other shit? Am I a threat to my kid? Am I going to murder it tonight? You think that that's your problem. This is what keeps the cycle repeating. But unbeknownst to you, the problem that you have and why these thoughts are so repetitive and have become so sticky, and the key out to the intrusive thought cycle, the problem is you reasoning away the intrusive thoughts. Because when you reason the shit and logic your way out of it, you legitimize it. All of a sudden it becomes, in your mind's eye, it's a problem to be answered. Could this happen? How do I know? Uncertainty over something which I will never ever be able to be certain about. This certainty I will never find. And the repetitive nature of reasoning this shit away, getting the dopamine boost, and then later having the cycle repeat and being shocked by the intrusive thoughts and not going away, trying to just block the thoughts out, that shit doesn't work. The stuff that they outlined in this book and the stuff that has helped me so much, particularly at that time, what you've got to do is expect it. If you've been thinking for the last 6 months, questioning whether you're going to kill your daughter tonight, or if you're into bestiality, if you've been thinking this shit day and night, getting nightmares and shit about this, getting groinal responses, worried like a motherfucker, is this shit true? If you've been thinking this for the last 6 months, chances are you're going to think it again. So in order to lessen the impact that it has on you, you're absolutely better off expecting it. You're going to get this shit again. And when you do, here's what you do. And I implore you to expect these thoughts to continue for a brief while. But when you get them, don't come up with all the reasons as to why you would never commit bestiality or kill your daughter, and that you are a good person, you'd rather die, all of this shit. Don't do that. Accept it. What you resist will persist, and when you bring your attention to this shit, all it will do is expand, and that is what you don't want. It's not that you, by focusing on it, you're making it come true or manifesting it. Get that shit out of your head for starters, okay? That isn't the case. But when you focus on it and you come up with all the reasons as to why it won't happen, your focus is on it entirely, and you're getting thrown for a loop, and it's repeating. You're far better off accepting uncertainty and just letting the chips fall where they may, accepting this shit, not even trying to get not being attached to any outcome, accepting it, saying, yes, I've suffered with this long enough now. I don't give a, say to yourself, I don't give a fuck if I get these thoughts for the next 5 years. It doesn't mean shit. I don't care if I get an intrusive thought and I get a full-on erection. It doesn't mean it's true. I don't care. I don't give a shit about this. I accept it. I expect it. I refuse to reason it away. Yeah, I am. And if you can keep a sense of humor about it, all the better. All the better. But accept it. Don't reason it away. Don't come up with all the reasons as to why it isn't happening and then feel good about yourself for a few seconds, or seek reassurance online because you're keeping it going. Don't do that. That's the fucking worst thing you can do, okay? Accept it. Expect this shit. Don't reason it away. And read this book, because these guys go on in far greater detail and are far more intelligent with this shit than I can ever be. This can really help you out, okay? And there are two, on top of the expect this shit, accept it, don't reason it away, because you're only keeping the cycle going. On top of that, for you guys out there that are getting things of a sexual nature, there are some things that I want to add on top of that advice there, okay? And that would be, and just to give a brief outline, when I would get these really disgusting intrusive thoughts that were so terrible for my life, ruining my life, what I would do oftentimes would be, I would look at high-speed internet pornography and yank it and start masturbating to it and to get that brief little peace afterwards, to kind of alleviate the stress of this shit. But I'm telling you, over a period of time, when I was looking at porn 5-6 times a day, not even enjoying it towards the end, it just exacerbated it. If your shit is of a sexual nature, do I want to molest my dog, molest my kid, or am I a cuckold, am I gay? You want to turn your back on pornography like it's a disease, like it's the Black Plague. Avoid it. I'm not saying you have to avoid it forever. I'm not holding you to too high of a standard, but give it 2 months. No porn, no masturbating. That's what I did. I was so stressed out by the intrusive thoughts that I didn't even care to look at this shit for 65 days, no problem. And it helped me out so much. You want to purify your mind as best as possible. And when you're looking at porn, it's just gonna fuck you up. It's just gonna fuck you up. And on top of this is one last piece of advice that I want to give you, and that would be meditation. But more importantly, the meditation, in my opinion, is rigorous, and I mean rigorous exercise on a daily basis, at least 5 times a week. And I don't think heavy, low rep gym sessions are good enough. You need to get the sweat on your forehead and have a moment where you're out of breath and get your heart pumping. Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, hot yoga, something that gets the sweat on your forehead, particularly when you're surrounded by other people and you're talking. Jiu-jitsu is beautiful for this shit, because in that moment when you're rolling, when you're sparring, there is no thinking in that moment. And I'm telling you, high intensity exercise, the mind, body and soul are absolutely linked. When you look after your body, your mind will soon follow. When you let your body fall into disrepute, your mind goes to shit. Your mind will go to just down the shitter. So I hope this has helped you. Expect these thoughts. You're gonna get them again, but when they come, accept them, accept all the physiological and psychological shit that's been happening. I don't care if you've got a boner, I don't care if you've been getting dreams, no matter what, accept the fucking lot, okay? Accept it, don't try and reason it away, that's the worst thing you can do. Rigorous exercise, like your life depended on it, and avoid pornography. That really, all of this shit has helped me so much. I still get intrusive thoughts today, but they are no longer a problem. They are no longer a problem, okay? So, yeah. I hope this video can help. If this video can help even one person, then it was worth it, okay? Because I know you guys, some people out there are really, really struggling with this shit. And, yeah.